GDP numbers show the U.S. economy shrunk by 1.4% in the first quarter of this year, raising concerns about a possible recession in the future. And it comes as gas prices are once again soaring nationwide. Nancy Cordes has more on that.
After drifting downward for the past few weeks, gas prices are once again creeping up to a national average of $4.15 a gallon. High prices and lingering supply constraints pushed GDP down this past quarter by 1.4% after a year and a half of growth.
I'm not concerned about a recession.
Despite some predictions of a looming downturn,
Good morning.
President Biden insisted Thursday the underlying economy is strong.
Last quarter, consumer spending and business investment and residential investment increased at significant rates. Unemployment is the lowest rate since 1970.
That may be true, but it doesn't make things easier for Claude Burns.
We're seeing 50%, 75% increases in sort of our more durable goods.
His company provides drinks and snacks to San Francisco businesses.
I probably spend at least half a day thinking about different sort of supply chain products, inflation-related things.
With inflation eating into everyone's bottom line, Democrats came out swinging Thursday, looking to land a punch on oil companies and their record profits.
They are hoarding the windfall while keeping prices high for people at the pump.
Their new bill would give the Federal Trade Commission the power to investigate the way energy companies set prices.
This is a very fluid situation, obviously, when it comes to energy.
Energy analyst Halima Croft says there are several factors driving gas prices up, including Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
The question is the duration of the war. I mean, we had an oil market that was already fairly tight in terms of supply and demand at the start of the year. We had, optimism about a recovery from COVID. People were driving to work.
With midterm elections approaching, Republicans argue those high gas prices are a problem for Democrats.
The American people know it's not price gouging, nor is it Putin's price hike. It's Biden's price hike, and it started on day one.
And some Democrats have also discussed the possibility of eliminating the federal gas tax temporarily. That would eliminate about 18 cents a gallon. But Democratic leaders worry that that would prompt oil companies to just raise gas prices that much more. Plus, Anne Marie, that federal gas tax is what's used to pay for road repairs in this country, which is something many Americans support.
Yeah. So what else is in the new bill Democrats are proposing to combat high gas prices? And what additional resources are they going to be giving the Federal Trade Commission so they can actually do the work?
Basically, this bill would give the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, and state attorneys general the power to impose civil penalties on energy companies that they deem are price gouging, are keeping the prices of energy artificially high. Essentially, what Democrats are doing here politically is trying to send a message to voters in an election year. Hey, we get it. We're not going to pretend that gas prices aren't high, that inflation isn't a problem. We recognize that those things are a problem, and we are going to make them a priority. Whether or not they can meaningfully bring the prices of things like gasoline and food down, particularly within the next 6 months before a midterm election, that is a pretty tall order. But at the very least, they want to show they're on it and they're thinking about it.
And then how are Republican lawmakers responding to this?
Well, they say it's a gimmick. They say that Democrats are just looking for someone to blame for the fact that prices are high. They argue that Democratic spending is at the root of the problem. But, when you look at it realistically, when we had a Republican president, spending was pretty robust as well. The reality is that there is this confluence of factors that is making life really challenging for the Biden administration right now. You've got these snarled supply chains. It looked like things were just improving, and then we had this huge surge in COVID in China, creating problems once again. Obviously, you've got this ongoing war in Ukraine, concerns that is going to constrict the supply of Russian oil for months, if not years to come. And that is pushing the price of everything up. And there's not a lot of relief in the short term on the horizon.
Before I let you go, the president was asked about a variety of topics yesterday. One of them was student loan forgiveness. And he suggested that he's still looking into it and considering the possibility of forgiving less than $50,000 per borrower, which is not bad, but it's certainly not as much as some Democrats would like to see. They'd like to see, entire debts wiped out. I'm wondering, what the conversation is about this topic, loan forgiveness, and whether or not the administration is looking into addressing the root cause, which is just how expensive it is to go to college?
That is a perennial discussion. We haven't seen any major moves from the White House to try to address that. That is really difficult to do, to try to get colleges and universities to lower their prices. There has been a lot of talk, however, as you point out, about loan forgiveness, debt forgiveness, and if you were to do so, at what level you would do it. The president made it pretty clear yesterday that while he is open to some debt forgiveness, he's not just going to wipe out, $50,000, $100,000 per borrower. There's a concern that then some wealthy people who don't necessarily need as much help might get that assistance. They want to keep it targeted. Plus, it just gets incredibly expensive for the federal government when you're wiping out that kind of debt for Americans en masse. It's something that some Democrats, like Bernie Sanders, have said they want to do, but by and large, there are many Democrats who worry that that's just too much of a big ticket item. But the fact that the president's now saying that he is open to doing something and he's looking at it is a pretty powerful signal, especially for students and federal debt holders who have been kind of in limbo the past few months as they watch this moratorium expire and wonder what is going to happen to their debt now.
Yeah. Nancy, thank you.
You're welcome.